Welcome, PrepperNet. This is food storage. Um, and I lost my talking points. This will expand a little bit on what HUD talked about personal preparedness, uh, talking about your food storage. And there are two major caveats, I feel, when it comes to food storage. The first is store what you eat what you store. I'll repeat that. Store what you eat what you store. I love lima beans. My son and grandson do not. They refer to them as slima beans, and they will not eat them. So I buy the little small cans. I've got a bunch of those in my pantry because I want my lima beans. Um, None of us eat squash or zucchini, so I don't waste any of my garden space growing that because if we're not going to eat it. The second caveat, you've heard in the real estate market, it's location, location, location. Well, in the food storage, it's rotation, rotation, rotation. You want to rotate through your foods. If you go to the store and buy a couple cans of corn, put them in the back, move the other ones forward. Always keep rotating through. The expiration dates, sell by date, and best if used by date, according to the USDA, that is a quality control thing, that the companies will guarantee the quality of that food up to that date, and then after that it kind of goes bad. It's also thought that it's maybe more of a marketing thing. If you think that can of corn died yesterday, you're going to throw it out and go out and buy a new can. I think if I found a can of corn in my pantry that was a month past the due date, I'd eat it. If it was 6 months, I'd probably eat it anyway. Just, as long as the cans are not dented, rusted, bulging, or anything that's obviously not good. Yes. So, just kind of what you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with going much past an expiration date, that's fine. Just do what works for you best. And also how your foods are stored. The enemies are light, heat, moisture, pest, and oxygen. That's why when you put foods in your Mylar bags, you put that oxygen absorber because that will help protect your foods. When you're out looking for foods, there's lists in this handout. These are just suggestions. Like HUD says, everybody's different, but you want food that has a long shelf life if possible. The freeze-dried foods, those are really good. Some of these companies, they talk about 10, 15, 20, 30 years shelf life, and that would be good. The MREs supposedly have about 5 to 8 years. You also want to look at durable storage, jars, cans, bottle, glass jars, cans, things like that will protect the food. If you get pasta in those boxes, you might want to repackage those into something that is a little more protective of it. You want foods that are easy to store. And again, the packaging makes a difference. You want foods that are easy to prepare also. The freeze-dried, they just need some water. Some of them, if you had to, it doesn't even have to be hot water. HUD's not here, Earl's not here. I had beef stroganoff last night that he freeze-dried, and it was fabulous. All it needed was some hot water, and it was fabulous. But easy to prepare. Some of these foods you cook in the pouch. Some of the others you have to have a pan to cook them with. I pressure can foods. And what I'm learning is that I can go to the grocery store and buy cans of corn, cans of green beans. I can buy bags of pinto beans or whatever, but those take water and time to fix. I can pressure can pinto beans in jars, and all I have to do is open it up and eat it out of the jar if I needed to, or just warm it up. I pressure can meatballs in a tomato sauce, and also little slider-sized hamburger patties in quart jars, in a beef broth, and I can pressure can those. That food that's ready to eat, because you want food that'll be, easy to prepare, if you're in an emergency of some kind. You want your food to be obviously nutritional, foods that give you the proteins and the carbs for those that can eat carbs, and foods that will fill you up also. But don't skip on the fun stuff. Be sure you've got some snacks and some good stuff also. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So beans and rice will only go so far, and you'll revolt. Dietary restrictions. We spoke on that some also. If you're diabetic, if you're lactose intolerant, gluten intolerant, what you store in your pantry will be different from what I have in my pantry. There's also faith-based restrictions. If you're a Mormon, you don't drink alcohol, you don't drink coffee, you don't smoke. I don't smoke, I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I do drink coffee, so I have that in my pantry. If you are Islam or Jewish, you don't eat pork, so you won't have any of that in your pantry. It all goes back to store what you eat and eat what you store. That's really important. And there's a suggested list of types of food that you might want to get. Toward the back, there's a list of foods to avoid or store sparingly. They list brown sugar because it's got the molasses, and it's more moist. It'll turn into a brick after a while. But on these foods, and brown rice, if you eat a lot of it, you'll rotate through before it can go bad. And so it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have those. Nuts, of course, have a lot of oils in them, but you can still, if you rotate through them, you can still store those. The last bottom of page, yeah, didn't print the pages right. Anyway, it lists different places to go to get information. The first one, National Center for Home Food Preservation. As far as I'm concerned, that's the Bible for any kind of canning, pressure canning, or water bath canning. There's other places to check out. There's also a list of some of the emergency food suppliers. I got on the internet and all of these. The Latter-day Saints Bishop Storehouse, you do not have to be a member to purchase from them. I remember back in 2013, I was with a group, and we would go out there. They would actually let us come in, and they'd bring the bulk bags out, and we'd divide it up, put it in the Mylar bags. We'd seal it and do everything. You can't do that now, but you can still purchase from them. The website is listed here. They have a storehouse in San Antonio, one in Austin, up near Dallas, and in Houston. So you can check out their website. The website will list what they have and the sizes of the containers. And so check that out, and that way you can, if you need some food storage, they've got some. You can go there. Okay. Oh, great. You want to pass those around so people can try them out? Oh, absolutely. Okay, we have freeze-dried strawberries, mini marshmallows, and freeze-dried figs. So we're gonna open these, and okay, here you go, Earl. Help me. I can only. GMO. Oh my gosh. What is this? Figs. Oh, did I not tear it down far enough? Yeah, thanks. I may not have torn it. You may need a, yeah, thanks. Taste something Earl mentions that they taste like the ones that you get in the Lucky Charms. Yes, really good.
You want to make that hot roast?
Yeah, let's do that. Because I left some of my stuff at the camp, so I've got a few things here. We've got a couple of these food pouches. I've got spaghetti and meat sauce and lasagna and meat sauce. And Earl has
hot roast.
Pot roast. So we're going to cook these up. I make them, my nieces and nephews, every time I see them, you gonna make me marshmallows? Yeah. Yes, let's go to the kitchen and make me marshmallows. Which is it? Oh, yeah. That's good.
Oh, that's your roast.
Okay. This is pot roast.
Okay.
We're gonna cook it here and share it.
Mm.
Oh my god. It's awesome, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So I would do maybe a cup and a half of water for this.
Okay.
And let's let it set. Strawberries with marshmallows. I never tried that. Let me have some of this. It tastes just like the ones you get from Lucky Charms. They're a little flavored.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
Is that the figs?
Do you like those? I don't like figs, but they turned out pretty good.
Anybody need to try the figs?
I want to try a fig.
So what?
I'll have to do some figs.
Yeah, there's a bit of pre-work.
It's been God's already in my freezer, so I have to, once I start narrowing it out, that's when I start.
Yeah, I had to drop my production off because I knew I was coming to this. So I narrowed it down, and I just finished the load like on Wednesday or something like that. I'm not going to start another load because
I actually,
here, you pass someone on. I'm done with them.
My last load came out on Thursday.
Oh, you going to keep eating them?
I was like, you know what? No, I have that thing on Saturday, so this morning before I headed out, I put the next one in. Because I'll be home before it gets.
Oh, you just said overnighter?
Oh yeah, this one is chili, hot roast, pulled pork, and
nice. Have you done brisket yet?
Mm-hmm.
That turns out so good. I know. I was completely surprised how well that turned out.
That's our next thing.
Well, and here's the thing: with Harvest Right, they have a layaway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do a scratch and dent grade A. You will never find the scratch or dent on it, and you get $300 off.
And don't get the small. Get one of the larger ones.
Get either a medium.
We're just waiting for the water to boil so we can mix up these freeze-dried meals, and then once they rehydrate, we can we'll all can taste them, give them a try.
There's plenty of food here. Yeah.
Right. If you want
That was some very good figs.
Okay, and
like those?
we're
Good.
back.
have
Got
some,
my water boiling now.
Some pot roast and potatoes and stuff. We're getting
pour it
ready
into
to
the
cook, so you're
pouches,
welcome to
seal them
stay
up,
for that.
and we'll wait till they're ready again.
Y'all coming back?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I have lasagna and meat sauce. It takes
store?
1.5 cups of water.
No, I don't think so. I think Charlotte needed
That's
more
my 1
ice.
cup.
Yeah, we're grabbing more.
Okay. No.
Okay.
As far as I know, I'm good. Is it working?
Yes.
Good.
But I left the pouch in there.
What pouch?
The oxygen pouch.
Oh, well, it ain't gonna hurt anything. You just don't want to eat it.
Yeah, okay.
Let me pull the one out of this other one.
Pull the pouches, the oxygen absorbers out.
Hey, Charlotte, Earl, what are y'all's favorite meals that you have that are freeze dried or saved up?
Our family, it's probably the most favorite one is mac and cheese.
Okay.
Because it freeze dries real good as far as a meal, but for snacks, they chomp up those strawberries
You freeze dry your leftovers, right?
if we have enough.
Okay.
Yeah, usually on leftovers, we actually eat the leftovers, the designated leftover night. But if we make a big batch of stuff, we'll pre-freeze them on the trays and run a bunch of batches. Like I just did jambalaya, and we did 20 quarts of jambalaya, and that's a lot of food. And I freeze dried for almost a month straight. But then it's probably at my campsite. Yeah.
You guys follow any of like the meal prepping plans? Like one that I heard about is the 7 meals, where basically you set up 7 meals that you're going to prepare for that month, and it's going to be meals that you actually eat, and then you save up. Like you go to the grocery store and you find mac and cheese on sale. Well, that's one of my 7 meals, so I'm going to buy a ton of them. Do you do that at all?
As far as stashing supplies away.
Yeah, for that or for your freeze drying.
Well, for storage, food storage and accumulations, I have a formula where what I do is I start out to figure out how much of X do I use in a month. And it can apply to food, it can apply to shampoo, toothpaste, whatever it is that you consume. For example, toothpaste. If you use 1 tube of toothpaste per month, that means you need 12 things of toothpaste. So when you go to the store, and depending on your budget, you can buy, instead of buying 1 thing of toothpaste because you just ran out, you buy 2 or buy 3, whatever your budget says. And so you have 3 sitting there. And so when you take 1 out of your box and you open it, you put on your HEB list, go buy 3 more or 2 or 5, whatever your number is. And so you're always getting ahead. And so it's going to be 2 or 3 months until you get to that 12-month supply of something, but it's a budget-friendly way of doing it. And you could do that with cans of beans, rice. We eat a pound of rice a month, so you need 12 pounds of rice. That's easy to do. That is what I've been showing people, how to budget and keep things within. If you don't have to worry about money, most of us don't have that luxury. You just go out and buy, a couple of cases. Another thing that I try to do is, the number 10 cans, the big cans like that. So, I'll go out and buy number 10 cans of green beans because we like green beans. Well, 1 thing of green beans, that's a lot of green beans, So obviously we'll take 3 or 4 cups of those green beans and cook for that meal. But then there's still 10 cups in that container. So I take those cups, what's in there, and I put them into ball jars, quart ball jars or pint ball jars. And then I use my food saver to vacuum seal those containers to where they're shelf stable again.
Now,
So
is this dehydrated or?
No, we're talking about accumulating food for storage.
Yeah, I know. You were talking about the green beans.
The green beans, okay, what I was talking is I would get a number 10 can because we eat green beans, and a number 10 can has a lot more than this one of those little 8-ounce cans.
So then, is this already cooked food? Or is it dehydrated or
no, this is just
freeze-dried?
Canned food from the store.
And you're putting it in jars and vacuum sealing it without any kind of
right. So what happens is we eat what we want, and then we put them in the ball jars and vacuum seal those to where they're airtight.
Okay.
And we put them on the shelf, and those are the next sets of green beans we eat.
Okay.
And then when those, and it'll be a week or two, so they're not staying up there for long-term storage.
Okay.
But it saves a lot of money because a number 10 can of green beans is like $3, whereas a small can of green beans is
Yeah.
$1 something. So
Right.
you get 10 times as much for half the price.
Right. Right. Okay.
You suck out all the oxygen, so it is almost
Yeah,
shelf stable for quite a while.
yeah, and I have um, I can't remember the name of it, but it's not a food saver. It's a commercial grade
Okay.
vacuum sealer, and it sucks.
Okay.
Sucks
Okay.
in a good way.
Okay.
And most of them have it, and Amazon sells things that so you get the jar, you put just the lid, not the screw top, just the lid on top of it,
Yeah.
and then they have the caps for wide mouth or
Yeah.
regular mouth.
Yeah.
And you just set it on there, and then from your food saver or wherever,
Mhm.
they actually have it to suck the air
Yeah.
out.
And
Mine has a little round thing. And
that's
you go
for
out, set it on, and
that's for dry foods.
sucks it out.
That's for dry foods.
No, it's
That's
not.
It's not.
No, it's not. It's for liquids. I
It's
use
for
it.
liquids
I
too.
use it every single day.
And you've eaten those foods out of those jars.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep, every
Okay.
day.
Okay.
I do too.
Yeah,
I use
it
mine
works
all.
really well. It's not a long-term solution. I mean, I don't know if I would eat those 2 years from now, but they'll sit on your shelf for a while. And,
Okay. It's not a whole lot different than putting them in a Tupperware and squeezing out the air and putting it
well,
on your
no,
shelf.
yeah, that I wouldn't do that.
I do that.
But
This
that's not a
actually
lot different.
It is.
it
It's a lot
removes
different.
Okay.
100% of
I
the
wouldn't do it.
oxygen out of it,
Yeah,
and
completely safe.
completely safe.
Yep. Do it.
And the
All right.
other thing
That's
I use
your
it for-
kitchen, your rules.
Yeah.
The
Well,
other thing I use that for is when I'm traveling, I'll make up all my foods and I suck all the air out that need to go in the refrigerator because if you use an ice chest, the water gets in foods or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. We
You
found
suck
that
out
out.
100% of the oxygen, so I do my pancake mix, everything, and then I put them in there, suck out the. Well, now it's also waterproof.
yep.
The water won't get in the jars, so then I can line it up, and I don't have to worry about water getting in from my ice chest. So
Yeah.
I do that when I'm traveling.
It's completely safe. I've been doing it for years, and had no
Yeah.
issues.
I wouldn't do that. It's not unless it's dry foods. If it's
Dry foods, I vacuum seal. I bought
Yeah.
at an auction
because it's
like
really not any different than
like 50 pounds of pasta from an auction, a restaurant that went out of business, for like $5. And I vacuumed those into ball jars. And this was 5 years ago, and I just opened some up last week and made it. They were perfect.
okay.
No issues at
Your
all.
kitchen, your rules. All right, that's fine. Okay, we've got a few more minutes on the food.
You said the favorite meal of your family's that macaroni and cheese. So I know if you let macaroni sit out too long, it starts to get hard again.
Hmm.
When you bring that back, freeze dried it, do you ever have a problem that some of the macaroni is too hard or anything like that?
If you don't let it rehydrate long enough, yes. But typically, macaroni and cheese comes back 100%. It depends on how much water you put on there. It might be too runny. So I always tend to put less water because you can always add water. You can't take it out. And it works great. We had, what was it we had last night, Charlotte?
Beef stroganoff.
Beef stroganoff, and that's very close to mac and cheese. And it was awesome.
Yes, it was.
It tasted like day one. Everything rehydrated. There was no crunchiness. This morning I had sausage biscuits with gravy, and the biscuits were nice and crunchy, just like you would expect them from the store.
Yes, they
and
are.
the gravy and the sausage was perfect.
How old were they?
I made them in 2022, like January.
So a year and a half old.
Yeah.
Biscuits and gravy.
And
Yep.
they were delicious.
Yep.
How long does it take for it to lose nutrients?
It doesn't.
Because like as soon as you pull your vegetables from the garden, or a farmer does, and then they bring it to the store, it's already lost a ton.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When you freeze dry it, it doesn't lose any more.
No, actually, when you freeze dry food, compared freeze drying to dehydrating, when you dehydrate something, it loses most of its nutritional value. Whereas when you freeze dry it, it retains all that nutrition in there, and it's preserved, and it allows you to store it for a much longer time because there's no moisture content. All the nutrients stay there. You can like we had stored. I mean, I don't know when were those figs made. All that. I mean, it's all fresh and good, just like you would expect from picking it off the tree.
July 4th of this year.
For the figs.
The figs, yeah.
And those, I don't know if did you taste any?
Did.
Okay, those we hand picked off of a tree in our neighbor's yard. Cut them up and freeze dried them.
My family's favorite right now is my pulled pork. So I had made it for a family function. I don't remember when. Well, pork's been on sale a lot lately. And so I buy my meat when it goes on sale. So I've been making a ton of pulled pork for our shelf-stable meals. And I'm telling you, you open that up, you pour the hot water in, it is just like I just made it.
Yep.
Yes, yes.
I did brisket and took some slices of brisket and put in a skillet and heated up the water and boiled it right there in the skillet. And it came back like it was just came off the pit. I was really surprised. It was good. How's this look?
I haven't opened that one yet.
You guys tell us any of the foods that do not store well. Would not recommend.
Butter doesn't do good.
Actually, butter.
Honey doesn't do good.
Oh,
Honey,
honey.
Yeah.
Honey. Yeah,
Well,
honey never dies.
I thought he was talking about freeze drying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and butter. If you clarify it, turn it into ghee. Put it into your ball jars. Fill it up to the very top. Put the lid on and close it, and it's good just like that. It does not have to go into a can or anything, because it's just the pure butter. But that's fine. And again, honey never dies. Seems it'll crystallize, but you just warm it up and it'll get liquid again.
Yep.
What I've heard for freeze drying is yogurt bites don't taste good just popping them. Now I make my yogurt by I did yogurt. I do like to have that for breakfast every once in a while, so I wanted yogurt. So I freeze dried my yogurt. Tasting it, it was like chalky, but when I mashed into the powder, added the water back into it, it was just like I took it out of the refrigerator. So it freeze dried perfectly if you're going to rehydrate it, but eating it dry like your strawberries here,
Right.
is
Yeah.
not recommended because it does. It's a chalky.
Okay.
Yep.
But if you're going to put water into it and make it into an actual yogurt again, it's within 5 minutes cold water, rehydrated it.
Sour cream does pretty good.
Sour cream's good.
It's hard. It's difficult to get the hang of rehydrating it properly because it's real sensitive to get to that same creamy texture. We've always had issues with that, but
I measure mine per little tray that I make, and whatever water gets taken out is what I add back in.
yeah.
And so I don't have that much of an issue, but it takes a few extra minutes when I'm packaging. But
You got to weigh it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just finished buttermilk the other day.
I added some more water to this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The chunks being so big, you need more water to cover them.
The best way to do it that I found is wait for them to go on sale at the actual harvest site.
That looks good. Check that out.
Wow, it does. All right, this is what, lasagna and meat sauce.
I have not.
And then I think I paid $100, but they have a layaway. So then you could put that on layaway at that cost. And you could, I think
What y'all getting ready to do?
down to secure your layaway.
Do some
And then
coda.
you pay on it.
So who?
$20 here, $100 there,
Use
whatever.
HF
And then once it's paid
stay in
off,
contact.
they'll ship you your machine.
And if the price goes up in the meantime, you've already set your price.
256 watt hours? Lithium ion? That was
Yeah,
a
okay.
pretty penny, wasn't it? 300.
Okay. I just tried the
250
lasagna with
watt-hours?
meat sauce, and
Oh,
it
I'm
tastes pretty
thinking
good.
amp
If anybody
hours. Yeah,
wants to
20
come
amp
up and
hours.
try some.
Okay. I was like, damn. Where'd you get that? I need about 8 of them.
Yeah, no. It's a solid little battery though.
It's well, who's that? Moody? Yeah, Maddie,
There's a
M-A,
plate.
Mayada,
The
Mayada.
spoon goes there. What did I do with the spoon for this one? Oh,
Yeah, I
shoot,
need to get
need it.
another one for my another battery
There,
for my
I'll just serve some.
Rabbit's air conditioner unit. It runs on solar,
Oh, yeah.
and the batteries are not. They've been there for several years. And
Fling off that.
they're just not
second.
staying alive long enough.
Yeah.
My rabbits are not happy in the heat.
Yeah, that tastes for the spaghetti's not bad. Little bite pieces, but
So, this one's ready too. If you want to pull that out, if I can open the damn thing, I always have problems opening stuff. I can't open it. I don't know where the spoon. Oh, there's spoons down here. Never open things.
here's a spoon to dish some up.
Maybe easier if we just
You know what?
tilt it on its
Let's
side.
do this, and I'll cut this in half.
Okay. How much do the bags cost? The Mylar bags?
Not too bad. I buy them by the case.
You'd like to
Right.
taste some of these? Okay, I have to sit down. I'm getting lightheaded.
Where
Eating too much.
I get them off of Azure Standard. Have you used Azure Standard?
I'm sorry?
Azure Standard.
I haven't tried that one yet.
That's where I get my Mylars and a bunch of other organic produce and things.
I had to write it down. I don't have a brain for that anymore.
Oh, I know. I went to the website.
It's kind of like a drop ship service, but it's all organic stuff like that.
Love it.
Azure, AZURE, Standard, one word, .com.
And there's 3 drop locations in San Antonio.
Mhm. They do. You can get small things. You can get bulk stuff. Like a whole flat of apples or peaches or whatever. Grains, whole grains. 50-pound bags of grains.
Bulk or smaller
Yeah.
quantities, whichever.
I have an all natural organic place that does an order for the organic wheat berries
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
up in Utah. And